Hello, my beautiful family. Come on in, come on in, come on in. Welcome to my YouTube channel where we are rebuilding after trauma, where we're healing, rebuilding, and becoming. That's what life is all about, healing, rebuilding, and becoming. Come on in. It's your girl Kiana Williams, if you don't already know. And tonight we're having a real conversation. What why else should we have a conversation if we don't keep it real? So that's what we're doing right now. We're keeping it real over here. Come on in. So we're talking about how you see yourself. That's super important. How you see yourself supersedes how anyone else sees you. So that is important. So we want to talk about that. How do you see yourself after everything that you have been through? And I know that you have been through a lot. It seems like right when times were getting great, the next day or the next moment you knew something else was happening. But I'm here to tell you that it's all about how you see things. I had this meeting. I'm going to give you all a little bit of small talk while we are waiting for others to come on into this live. I had a meeting tonight, had a spiritual meeting, and it went great. And the conversation was about, the meat of the conversation was basically about in times of trouble, are you still secure with knowing that God is in control and it is working out for your good? Does that how and that was how the conversation went. That was the meat of the conversation. And that is absolutely true. So come on in, guys. And we need to know this because the truth is, how do you see us? How do God see you? And do you believe what God said about you? And that's what matters. How everyone else see you, it doesn't matter because a lot of times it can get complicated. Life is very much complicated. Right when you think you have learned a particular thing, right when you felt like you have learned a particular someone, then life happens where you are wondering, that is this so? So at times when you feel like you are at a position in your life where you know what things are, how people are, you learn, you don't know what you think you know. But what you always do know is who you are. Know who you are. That is super important. So come on in, guys. We're talking about knowing yourself after everything that you've been through because that's super important. A lot of us are not stuck because of what happened to us. We're stuck because how we see ourselves after it. A lot of times we go through so much trauma and we are wondering, guys, like, this is what I did. This is how I felt. It's like, how in the world after that, how did I let myself go through that? A lot of times it's like, what was you thinking? All these thoughts start going through your mind and all these mixed feelings and you become confused. And as you start to grow, believe me, the person that you was, you're going to start to see that person through a different eye. You're going to start to understand yourself much differently. Hi guys, come on in. Let me just tell you this. Speak freely here, but stay in this lane. Go ahead on and try to break things up, understand the whys and who you were at that moment, because knowing who you were, your past, who you were, will help you to become a better now, the present, the gift, who you are now, the present of you. So knowing all aspects of you will help you understand who you are now and the person that you want to become. It doesn't always feel good because those times that you were allowing certain things in your past, you're going to not like that person. But what you're going to do is You're going to give that person you were back then some grace, and you're also going to start giving that person some advice, because what you're going to give yourself is something that you did not receive, and we want to do that right now, make it become effective. So I've been through trauma, domestic violence situations, and I didn't ask for to be in a domestic violence situation. Let's make that clear. This trauma that we live through, we don't ask for those things. It's something that is connected in that we did want. For example, I didn't ask for domestic violence marriage, but I wanted a successful marriage. I didn't want to have my family experiencing what I had to experience growing up. I wanted to believe that someone could become a better person. And at the same time, I was losing myself. And that's what we do a lot of times. We think that people can be certain things, in which they can. But at the end of the day, people don't change based off what we believe that they can become, or who we believe they can become. We become who we feel like we want to become, and we have to believe in ourselves. So that's super important. And I want you to take that belief and that desire that you had for someone else to become something greater, and take that and turn it into yourself, because that's what we're missing a lot of times, is looking into ourselves and understanding that we all have a choice to decide where we want to be in life and who we want to become. And sometimes that person that we love will never become the person that we want them to be, because in actuality it's not fair for them. We get to choose who we are, allow them to be that person too, despite of. And there were moments that I didn't recognize myself. I can remember plenty of times where I didn't recognize myself because I was sticking into a relationship that I thought I was supposed to be in. When I say literally, at times I didn't recognize myself. I can remember me looking at myself in the mirror, and I was like, "Who is this person that I see?" I didn't recognize her literally, and there was times that I would sit to myself and I was thinking like, "You're not that person that you used to be." And all facts of the matter, all of that was true. I was not that person that I used to be. I was becoming someone new, even in those devastating seasons, those devastating times, those times that I didn't know what to do. I knew I shouldn't be there, but I didn't know what to do to get out safely. And now that I am in a safer and a better place, greater mindset, everything better, now I can look back and give myself that advice. And I want you to do that same thing to yourself. And what happened, one of the things that happened to me is that my confidence changed. The way I thought changed. And that is important. In order for us to really change, our mindset has to change. And that was something that I realized after the fact, is that my mindset needed to change, because after I was released from that domestic violence marriage and the whole situation, I experienced spiritual abuse. I'm a very spiritual person, energy person. All those things was altered and damaged, broken at times, but now I'm being put back together. But looking back at those times, I know now that I'm definitely in a better place, confidence and the way I thought. So that's an important, taking care of your mind. Sometimes, guys, trauma does not just hurt you, it changes who you are. Let me just tell you this: everyone will have their own opinion of you. So get used to it. You have to understand this. Because someone has an opinion does not mean that they're wrong, and it definitely does not mean that they're right. It just means just that they have their own opinion. And as I started to grow, I got more comfortable with people giving their opinions, and I didn't allow it to hinder my nervous system, because that's what happens to us. While we're going through the trauma, we're already becoming someone different. Remember, I told you guys when I looked in the mirror, I didn't notice me. When I was sit to myself, I didn't notice me. Those things, what was happening was those things was bringing a change. And at that moment that I was going through those things, I knew it was bad, and I didn't know what to do with myself. And I knew I needed to do something, but I didn't know. I didn't know I could. I didn't know I didn't have the. I felt like I didn't have the strength. But at that same time, something was changing in me. I was becoming someone that I'd never been before. And one day I would meet her, and now that I have met her, I love her. I love everything about her. I love the fearlessness in her. I love the confidence in her. I love the things that she's okay with that she doesn't have. And I love that she respects herself more. She gives herself more grace, and she's more vulnerable. Despite of I was in an abusive relationship, I was not very vulnerable at times because I was fearful of how people would look at me, how I was judged, and just all the things of what people would say. As a matter of fact, I dealt with that a lot. I can remember one day we had this skit at church, and we had to practice for it. So we had different characters. It was like a Halloween thing, but we was pretending to be someone out of the Bible, very crafty. And this particular situation, this particular skit, I decided to be Ruth. If you all are familiar with Ruth in the Bible, the book of Ruth, if you're not, go read about her. Okay. And this is back probably, let's see, we're now in 26. I left that domestic violence relationship back in 2021. So this had to be anywhere between 18 and 20. 2018, 2020. But I can remember that time we all had to choose a particular character to play, and I chose Ruth. And the reason why I chose Ruth, because in my mind I could visualize myself being in her shoes. And we had to reenact the different we had to react that person's reactions. And the reaction that the reaction that I acted out was when it was time for Ruth and Ruth's sister-in-law to depart from Ruth's husband's mom. And at the time, Ruth's husband had died. The two sisters-in-law had lost their husbands, and the mom had lost her son. So this is Ruth's mother-in-law, if you all don't know the story. But I can remember I was a great I deserved an Oscar. Let me tell y'all this. I deserved an Oscar because that day at church I got down on my knees, and I felt what Ruth was going through. Don't let me lose you now. Stay with me. But I felt what Ruth was going through. And at that moment, I played a part that was not me. But at that moment, I knew that I was stronger than what I thought, because I took on the emotions of someone, and I played that part well. As a matter of fact, I played that part so well. I can remember a lady in the church. Her name was Carolyn. Her name is Carolyn. I'm not sure she still goes to the church or not. I'm not affiliated with them anymore. But I remember her telling me, "Oh, that was good. Do it again." And when I say do it again, I was down on the floor. When I say I was acting, your girl had it going on. Okay. I did the doggone thing. And that's me. When I do something, I do it well. You hear me? And I do it well. And I practice on it and I do it good. Make sure it's satisfying to me. And she said, "Oh, that was good. Redo it again." I believe that she recorded it because I did it so well. So I got down on my knees and on my hands. I did as I imagined Ruth was doing to her mother-in-law, and tell her. And she told her, and I spoke these words: "Wherever you go, I will go. Wherever you be, I will be." And I reacted those words and those emotions, and I knew that this was something. Though it was for church, I knew that I could become someone different, a greater Kiana. And that was like a seed that was planted, that was unintentional, but it allowed me to grow in a way for me to see Kiana for who she could become. So I give you all that story to let you know that we all are learning, not failing, despite of what it feels like, despite of what it even looks like. We all are learning. And some of us are still in survival mode, and we really don't have to be. But I understand. Guarded, overthinking, and not trusting. I understand. Believe me, I understand. You don't want to be that way. You don't want to be an overthinker. You don't want to be a person that doesn't trust people. You don't want to be guarded. You just don't. But at times you have to give yourself grace. And you need people around you who's going to understand that you do need that grace, because when you go through trauma, it bothers your nerves. It changes who you are. But you don't stay there. You sit there for a little bit and you get yourself back up. Because those defenses that you have, I get it. It protected you back then. It did. But they're not meant to cage you. They were meant to protect you. Now you don't need that protection. So shift how you feel about yourself. You're in a new season now. At some point, you have to decide, who are you now and who do you want to be? Not who you were in pain. That's not you anymore. Not who people labeled you to be. That's not, you've never been that person. You are not your trauma, my beautiful family. You are who you decide to become after that. Whoever that person is, you decide. So tonight, I want to ask you something, a question. What is one thing you decided to release tonight? Whew. Mm, mm, mm. I'm going to answer this question for myself as well, while you answer yourself. Tonight, I am going to release the thing that I don't want to. I'm going to trust. I'm going to fully trust. That's hard. Why is it hard? When you feel like mostly everyone that you've been connected to, you could not trust them. But we're not living in fear, and we're not living caged. I had to live that way at one point of time in my life, but that's no longer a part of me. I'm moving forward. And how does it feel? knowing that what's ahead of me and you is greater than what you're letting go. Move forward. So listen, you don't have to have everything figured out, but you do have to make a decision because you're worth it. That you're not saying where you were, you're not going to stay where you were. Remember this, forgiveness isn't just for them, it's always for you. It's always for you. At the moment you release it, is the moment, the very moment you make room for who you are becoming. This is rebuilding after trauma, healing, rebuilding, becoming. I'll see you in the next video. Peace. All right, cut this off. I enjoyed, guys. I enjoyed y'all. I enjoyed you all so much. See you Wednesday.